morning, Claudia. Hello, Erica, Gabriel.
Hi.
Hello, how are things? Is everything good?
Sorry.
Is everything good? I haven't heard any reply. How are you guys? Okay? Gabriel?
Fine. How are you?
I'm okay. Still, locked inside of my room because of the quarantine, but I'm doing okay. So far, no symptoms. So I'm fine. Okay, how about you?
Good too.
Nowadays, that's the best answer I can hear. Okay, good too. That's excellent. Okay. Well, I hope we have no problems today with the internet. And as usual, on behalf of Descubra Mundo, I'd like to welcome you all. And today we are going to do I'll try to do a very interactive class, okay, with your participation if it's possible. I just ask you not to keep the TV on or the radio on. Otherwise, I have to mute you to get the sound of your microphone off, or we can't hear anyone. Understand what I'm saying? All the microphones are liberated. So if you have any question, you can interrupt me. We can even try to talk, but keep all external sounds off. Otherwise, I'll have to mute again. All right? Okay, everyone? Of course, if you want to use the chat box or the bubble, go ahead. So once again, stay home, stay safe, and let's start our class. Yesterday, I didn't have a chance to finish everything I had prepared to teach you. So what I'm going to do is I'll try to finish everything today, okay? So that we can go to today's class. So let me share my screen with you. Okay. This is what we were talking about yesterday when we ran out of time. Remember, we were talking about the pronouns, but I didn't have a chance to talk about the last pronouns, the reflexive pronouns or the emphatic pronouns, as people might call it. Okay? So this is what we're going to talk about. For each subject pronoun, there is a corresponding reflexive pronoun for like I, myself, and observe that it's the only case which you have different forms for singular and plural. Like here, you, your, okay? Here, no. We have myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. And in the plural for self is selves, okay? Like ourselves, yourselves, okay? Themselves, all right? So let's talk about the reflexive pronouns are used in 3 different cases, and that's what we're going to discuss today. So let's go back there and let's see if you have any question, all right? Was there any question concerning what we talked about yesterday or no problem? Your microphone is on. You can say, was there any problem concerning what we talked about yesterday or no? No problem? Okay, good. Yes, this is what I want to talk about here. Possessive pronouns, okay, the common mistakes, reflexive. Okay, reflexive or emphatic pronouns. As the name says, they are pronouns used to express emphasis. What is this? To make a sentence more emphatic, or to give the idea that an action happened to the person itself, not to another one. Okay, it was a reflexive action. See the examples below and let's see if you understand. The first use is when they come after the verb, right after the verb, and they must always agree to the subject of the sentence. The idea is reflexive. For example, last night I was cooking and I cut meat. It's wrong. Okay? If I cut me, I have to say I cut myself. I can say I was cooking and I cut my wife. I can cut any other person. I can cut anything, but not me. Right? Every time I have I cut me. I hurt me. Wrong. I cut myself. I hurt myself. Okay? Other than that, I can cut everybody. You see? Oh, if you cut another person while playing or using a knife, okay, it's all right. It's not a problem. I cut her, I cut him, I cut her, I cut it like I need to cut the bread to serve. No, don't worry about it. I can cut it. That's okay. But while cutting the bread, I cut me. I cut myself. A very common use for this is also when you are walking down the street and somebody says, "Hi, how's it going?" You can say, "Fine." Yourself? Just this. Or how about yourself? Okay? Then you can use yourself to repeat the question to the person. That's another possible use. So I cut her, him, her, it, you, them. Okay. The only form is not possible is I cut me. Okay? And observe that in this case, in reflexive, they come right after the verb. Okay? They hurt me. They hurt me. I hurt myself. Any problem about this or no? Can I go to the second use? Yes? Remember, your microphones are on, so you can answer yes, no. Okay? Can we go on?
Go on, yes.
Okay, good. The second use is when I place them directly after the subject, like I myself, or at the end of the sentence. The idea is not reflexive. In this case, they are emphatics. For example, you come to my house and then you see a beautiful painting on the wall, and then you say, "Wow, that's a nice painting. Who painted that?" I myself. I am emphasizing that I myself did that. It's like very similar to, it was really me, okay? I myself painted that. Or I can say, I painted that myself. So you can either use it right after the verb, the subject, or at the end of the sentence, okay? Like, I myself painted my house. She herself baked the cake, or she baked the cake herself. Any problem about this or no? That's
No.
the second use. No problem. Excellent. The third and the last use for the reflexive pronouns is after the preposition by. At the end of the sentence, when I say by myself, the idea is alone or without help. For example, we are having a conversation and you ask me, "What did you do last weekend?" "Oh, I went to São Paulo." "Really? Who did you go with?" "I went by myself." By myself means I went alone. "Who fixed your car?" "I did." "You fixed your car?" "Yes, I did it by myself." means without any help. So these are the three uses that we didn't talk about yesterday. The reflexive pronouns. When they use it after the verb, they indicate the reflection, okay? But they must agree with the subject. It doesn't exist like, I cut herself. No, I cut myself. I cut her, okay? I can use after the subject to emphasize, okay? Like, I myself did that, or it's also possible to use at the end of the sentence with the same meaning. I did that myself, and after the preposition by, when they mean alone or without help. Was there any problem about this, or can I just finish this class and start today's class? Is everything
It's okay.
Okay,
Okay.
no problem.
Thank you. So this is what we were supposed to finish yesterday. All right, so I'm going to share another screen with you, and we are going to start without further ado our class today. So pay attention here, please. This is what we are supposed to study today. Well, just to wrap up the week, I decided to review all the tenses that we studied, okay? Study the future forms, how to ask questions in the future, all the forms of future, and so on. So let's start here. I think this is going to be a very interesting class. I like it very much because I've heard many things about the future which were not real, okay? So pay attention here. Oh, we have, since the beginning of this week, already studied the use of the simple present, which is used to talk about daily habits, things that you do with a certain frequency. Like, I get up at 6 every day. I usually walk 4K every day. I always take a shower. I never drink beer. Okay, so these are my habits. Can somebody give me an example of his or her habit, or of something that you usually do on a daily basis? You can either write or you can tell me. Come on. Waiting for examples in the simple present.
I study English every day in the quarantine.
In the quarantine. Yes.
Quarantine.
Okay. Yes, that's good for you. I'm sorry, you don't have many options, many other things to do. So it's either watching bad things on TV or studying English. So studying English is perfect. Can I get any more examples, please? Any other example? One more. In the simple present.
I sometimes work at home.
Okay. I sometimes work at home. Remember, the position of the adverb of frequency, sometimes, is placed after the verb to be, like I am sometimes busy in the morning, or before the other verbs. I sometimes work at home. You can say, but is it also possible to use it at the beginning of the sentence? Like sometimes, comma, I work at home. It is possible. Then we talked about the use of the present continuous or present progressive, as many people also call it. And I told you that the present continuous is used not to talk about daily habits, but it's used to talk about what is happening now, at this moment. Okay, like what are we doing now? We are studying English online. That's exactly what we are doing now. Okay? But I told you that there were many verbs that are not possible to be used in the present continuous. Do you remember any of the verbs that are not possible to be used in here? There was a long list, but can you give me A few examples of verbs that should never be used in the continuous forms.
Love.
Love, exactly. Of course, you can love a lot, but you cannot say, I'm loving, okay? What else? Any other verb? If it's easier for you to memorize, remember the three types. Verbs of opinion, love, hate, like, prefer. Verbs that talk about your, let's say, human skills, abilities, like see, hear, taste, smell. Okay, we don't
Understand.
use understand. These are verbs of perception. Okay, believe, understand. Verbs of necessity. I need, I want. Okay, these verbs are not used in the ing. That's why I always recommend, don't think in Portuguese and try to translate word by word into English. Every time you do this, you have high chances of making a mistake, okay? Like, I am needing, tô precisando. I'm wanting, tô querendo. It doesn't exist in English. In English, you say, I need, I want, I believe, I prefer, okay? Good.
Okay.
And then we also talked about the simple past. That's used to talk about an action that happened at some definite time in the past. Like yesterday, we discussed the past tense of regular verbs. I lived in the USA for many years. Every time I say I lived, it means I don't live anymore. You got to be careful about this because sometimes in a normal, regular conversation with a native speaker of English, you might misunderstand him or her because if he says like, I lived in the USA for many years, it means he doesn't live anymore. But if he says, I've lived, the only difference was I've, and you don't pay attention to the contraction, I've, you get all confused because I've lived in the USA for 5 years. It means that he still lives there. And I lived in the USA for 5 years. It means he doesn't live anymore. Okay? So you got to be careful with this. This little contraction, I've, or sometimes in the third person, he, she, his, like he lived, he's lived, can lead you to misunderstand the sentence, all right? Okay, understand what I'm saying? We will
Yes.
talk about the present perfect, not the time yet, but we will talk about the present tense, okay? Let's continue. What are we going to talk? Today's class, the focus is in the future. Basically, there are two forms of future in English. Will and be going to. Most Brazilians, they simply prefer to use will because it's like, I work, present. You work, present. You worked, past. You will work is future. And they memorize like this. Let me see, I think somebody's asking me a question here. Yes. I can't see the chat box. No problem. Okay. So I'll continue. What happens? Will, as I said, is the most common future form, but there is a big difference in meaning between will and be going to. I'm going to ask a question, and I'd like to have everyone answering. Do you know the difference in use between will and be going to? Does anyone know when we use will, when we use be going to? Yes or no? Remember, your microphones are not muted. So you can tell me.
Will
Do you know the
decide
difference
at the moment?
Okay. How about be going to?
You plan before? You have arrangements?
Wow. Okay. Does anyone else have a different opinion? Erica, Gabrielle, Karen, Laura?
No,
Is
I
there
don't
any?
know.
Don't know. Thank you. Thank you for sharing and being honest. I've been giving classes for more than 30 years. Probably before some of you guys were born, I was already giving English lessons. And I've heard so many stories. I've heard so many versions for the difference that you don't believe. I've heard people saying, will is for a very far away future. Be going to is for a closer future. That's all, as they say in English, BS. That's all bullshit, nonsense. It's not true. So let's try to understand what is the real difference. Because if it's funny, if you ask not a teacher, but if you ask just a regular speaker of English, a native speaker of English, what is the difference between will and be going to? He or she is going to say, I don't know, there is no difference. It's so natural for them that they don't even think about it. They just use it correctly. Understand what I'm saying? They know how to use, but they don't know how to explain the difference. But I hope I'll be able to explain you the difference. So pay attention here. Let's start with will. You see, will should be used at the exact moment you make a decision. Somebody says something, you make a decision, you use will. For instance, let's suppose that in the middle of this class, somebody says, teacher, I'm sorry, I have to stop here. I cannot watch your class anymore. Then I say, why not? I've got a terrible headache. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll give you, if it were possible, of course, I'll give you some aspirin. You see, I do have aspirin, but I was not planning to give to this student. I decided to give it to her because she told me she was not going to continue the class. I decided now, at this moment, you see, so I said, I'll give you some aspirin. All right? 1 second later, if I get up and I start walking to get the aspirin and somebody says, where are you going? I'm going to get some aspirin to give to Maria. Not I will get, because I have already made the decision. That's why most Americans use it naturally. If you start paying attention, and I ask you to pay attention to movies, a husband gets home at night, the wife shouts, honey, we need to take the trash out. And he says, okay, I'll do it now, or sometimes, I'll do it later. I'll do it. He was probably planning to sit down, open a bottle of beer, and start watching football on TV. But the wife told him it was necessary to take the trash out. And based on that, he said, I'll do it. Okay? So imagine that due to the quarantine, only one of you can go to the supermarket. So you ask a friend of yours, or your husband, or your wife, or your partner, I'm going to the supermarket. Do you need anything? He or she says, Yes, I need some shampoo. Shampoo was not on your shopping list. Then what do you say? Oh, okay, I'm going to buy it, or I'll buy it for you. What do you
I'll
think
buy.
you say? Very good. Thank you. I'll buy it. I'll get it. Because you see, if it was already in your list, you could simply say, oh, okay, I'm going to get it. Because you had already planned to do it. And this is the difference. Once you make a decision, once you plan something, you use be going to. At the moment you make a decision, you use will. Okay? So, do you need anything else? No, just the shampoo. Okay, so bye. On the way out, you see another friend or class, I don't know, roommate or your son or daughter. And then again, you say, well, I'm going to the supermarket. Do you need anything? How about some chocolate? Okay, I'll get some chocolate too. All right? The moment you make the decision, will. And it's always contract. I never heard anybody saying, okay, I will buy some chocolate. It's like, I'll get some, I'll buy some. All right? Is it easy to understand or difficult? Would you like one more example, or that's not necessary?
No, it's okay.
Everybody understands? Oh,
Yes.
there is one more here. I don't know how to use this camera. Oh, that's easy. I'll show you. You see, I was not planning to stop doing what I'm doing now, but I decided to help you because you told me that you don't know how to use it. So that's easy. I'll show you. Okay? So this is will. And please pay attention to movies. That's the best way to improve your English. Somebody comes and says something to a person. Based on that, he says, okay, I'll call her. I'll call her. I will call her. Okay? He just made the decision at that moment. And if you compare with be going to, which is right here, be going to is used to talk about things that you have already decided or planned to do. Okay? If you remember when we studied the present continuous, I told you that it was possible to be used to talk about future plans. So that's the same case here. If you say like, oh, this weekend I'm going to visit my mother. It's my plan. I'm going to visit. It is the same of I'm visiting my mother. It's the same. All right? No difference. So once you already make a decision, you use be going to, never will. And I don't know if it's because Brazilians are kind of lazy, they always prefer to use will. Listen to this situation and you get the idea. I tell you, for example, have you heard about Mary and John? No, what about them? Oh, they are getting married. Really? Yeah. Then a Brazilian will probably ask me, when will they get married? Do you think that's a right question or no?
Hoje tem pouca gente.
No problem. So you can express yourself. Do you think that's a right question or no?
Could you repeat,
Hello?
please?
Yes. I try to understand the entire conversation. If you can't understand, I'll just write it down, but try to understand. Have you heard about John and Mary? The other person says, no, what about them? They are getting married. Oh, really? They are getting married. Oh, really? Then I ask, when will they get married? When will they get married? My question is this question okay or wrong?
It's wrong.
Wrong.
Yes. Any
When
other opinion? When will they get married?
I think it's wrong.
Okay, we have one more wrong. Any other opinion?
Wrong.
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 Yes, wrong. Excellent. So if they are getting married, you don't get married without planning. Sometimes maybe a baby comes first, but you plan the marriage. Understand? So it's not possible to say when will they get married. The correct would be, oh, really? When are they going to get married? Or the present continuous. When are they getting married? Okay? Understand this?
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, when we talk about the future, we not always talk about plans or not plans. Many times what we do is we try to imagine what is going to happen. We try to predict the future. Understand? And then there is also a difference between using will or be going to. And this is extremely different, especially in business English. If you work for an American company and your boss asks you a question and you answer using will or be going to talk about something that you expect to be done in the future, it is really important that you use the correct tense. Why? That's what we are going to see here. Pay attention to this part, very important. When predicting the future, here, I have just highlighted for you. When predicting the future, not based on anything, just your feelings, just your guts, your opinion. There is nothing. You have no facts, no evidences at this time that can assure you that the action is going to happen. In this case, to predict the future, you should use will. For example, where is Mary? I don't know. I think she'll not come to class today, or I think she won't come to class today. That's my opinion. She didn't call me. She didn't text me. She didn't send me an SMS. That's really my opinion. I have no idea where Mary is. Understand the case?
Yes.
Yes.
There is another situation here. Imagine, now it's 2:33. If you look outside and you see a very blue sky, very clear, no clouds, absolutely no clouds, okay? Not a single cloud in the sky. And then we are having a conversation. In the middle of the conversation, you say, you know what? I think it will rain. Probably everyone is going to say, you're crazy. There is not a single cloud in the sky. Well, but when I was a little boy, I broke my little finger. And every time my little finger hurts, it rains. It's hurting terribly now, so I think it will rain. Well, you are entitled to say whatever you want. It's your opinion. You can say, I think it will rain. But based on what? It's your opinion, your feeling, not based on anything. Understand? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
good. Excellent. Compare now with the second case of going to. When you predict the future based on a present evidence or a fact, you have something in the present that assures you that the action is going to happen for sure. Okay? You use be going to. Like, it's 2 p.m., the sky is dark and gray. You can hear thunders. You can see lightning. The wind is blowing hard. And based on these, you can say, look at those black clouds over there. I think it's gonna rain or it's going to rain. You see, you do have at this moment several evidences. The dark sky, the gray sky, the thunders, the lightnings, okay? And everything together assures you that it's going to rain. So you can say, I think it's going to rain. Can you see the difference between this case and the first case?
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. Just to wrap this up, I'm going to give you one more example. Imagine we were having this on a face-to-face basis, not online. Online is not possible, but everyone was here sitting in front of me. In the middle of the class, one of the girls just stood up. I'm going to mute your microphones because there is a lot of back sound.
Mas ele falei, então, Amanda, com tudo isso, bem, mas época de crise, mas época de crise vai negociar. Não, fala bem.
Okay. I think now it's possible to explain. Imagine a situation like this. We are having a face-to-face class, everybody sitting here. In the middle of the class, one of the girls stands up and runs out of the class as fast as possible. Like, excuse me, and shoot, runs away. After 10 or 15 minutes, she comes back. She's pale, as white as a piece of paper. And then I ask her, what's the matter? Are you okay? Oh, no, teacher, I'm sorry. Haven't been feeling well lately. What's the problem? I don't know. I've been throwing up. Throwing up is the same as vomiting, okay? Throw up or vomit are synonyms. I've been throwing up a lot. But for any reason? No, no reason at all. Is there any other symptom? Oh, yes. My stomach is very upset. I get sick when I smell food. I get sick when I smell many things like a perfume or a cologne. Oh, I see. So upset stomach, vomiting. Then I ask her a very simple question and direct question. When was the last time you had your period? In English, the word period is used to refer to menstruation. Menstruation exists, but it's not common. They prefer to say period. When was the last time you had your period? And then she says, oh, that was in December. In December? Oh, December, January, February. We are almost at the end of March. That's 3 months. Absence of period. Frequent vomiting. Upset stomach. I have 3 signs. What do you think I can say to her? Oh, I'm sorry, but I think you will have a baby or you are going to have a baby. I'm going to release your microphones again. What do you think I should say to her? I think you will have a baby or I think you're going to have a baby. Which one do you think?
You are going to have a baby.
Yes.
Yes. Can you see why?
Yes.
3 facts: absence of menstruation, vomiting, and upset stomach. These are signs that she's pregnant, right? So it's different when I look at a girl and I think, oh, you will have a baby. She's going to knock on the wood 3 times and say, are you crazy? Because I have no reasons to say that, understand? But it's not the case of my student. My student, no. She had 3 present evidences practically assuring me that she's pregnant. So she's going to have a baby. All right?
All right.
Yes.
Excellent. And just to finish today's class, okay? If you want to ask questions, if you have will, just place will in front. Like you will you? If you have be going to, we just need to place be going to in front. You are you? So I think no problems here. I don't want to waste my time explaining this because there is only one more future that I want to talk about. It's called future continuous or future progressive. This is a little more complex than the present continuous because we need to use will, I will. Then we need to use the verb to be, I will be in the base form. And then we need to use any other action verb which is possible to be used in the continuous. It's not possible to say, I'll be loving, I'll be understanding, I'll be liking. But it's possible to say, I'll be working, I'll be studying, I'll be attending a class. We use this to talk about any future action that is going to be in progress at a certain time in the future. Understand? For instance, a friend of yours asked you to, how about going to the club tomorrow? Then you say, okay, at what time? At 2 o'clock. I can't. I'll be studying. I'll be having a class. You see, it's not now. It's in the future at a certain time. Like tomorrow, I'll be at school from 8 to 11. And then you say, oh, okay, I'll call you at 9. Don't do that. At 9, I'll be studying. Understand this? The action is not happening now, but it's going to be in progress at a certain time in the future. In this case, I have will and the verb to be. If I want to ask a question, I have to use the first auxiliary, which is will. So I say, will you be working tomorrow? No, I won't be working tomorrow. I'm supposed to stay home. Okay? Any question about this or no?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Excellent. This is what I had planned to go over with you today. And in our website, I have also prepared some material, some funny material for you to, not to study, but to think about over the weekend. And I can go and discuss with you next class on Monday. You also have the exercises here, okay? For example, I've got a terrible stomachache. I think it's a hangover. Do you guys understand hangover?
No.
Yes.
Hangover is when you drink too much, you know?
Okay.
Okay.
The next day you feel bad. Oh, see how Brazilians are very clever. What is the name of the medicine that we have in Brazil for a hangover? Isn't it engov?
Yeah.
You see, hangover. In Portuguese, we don't pronounce the H, so we would say engover. Engover is bad. It's not a mineiro that invented this. Engover. So they say engov. So
Okay.
you see, that's easy to remember. Hangover, engov. Hangover, engov. Okay? Oh,
Okay.
I've got a terrible stomachache. Okay? I think it's a hangover. Then the other person says, really? Wait here. I will get you some engov or I'm going to get you some engov. What do you think is correct?
I will get.
Very good. Thank you. I will get you because you have it for your own use, for your own consumption. You are not planning to give it to me. All right? But you decided because I told you I have a terrible hangover. All right? What about this one here? What would you like to drink, sir? I think I'll have some coffee, or I think I'm going to have some coffee. Imagine a dialogue in a restaurant or in a coffee shop. What do you say? I think I'll have, I think I'm going to have. Hello, what's the right
Will
answer?
have.
I'll have. I will have, yes?
Yes.
I will have to.
I will have. One more, yes. The correct is I will have. Every time you go to a restaurant, they give you the menu, and then you are just looking at the menu, trying to decide what you're going to have, and then you look there, you make your decision. But when the waiter comes and says, ready to order? Yes, I'll have these. But if you're having dinner or lunch with another person that arrived late, he or she asks you, have you decided? Yes, I'm going to have the steak because you made a decision before. Understand? Okay?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Excellent. So please, you do have Saturday and Sunday and nothing else to do since we are all under quarantine. So try to do the exercises. You have here the answers to the exercise I gave you last class, okay? They are all here. And keep yourself safe, okay? And have a great weekend. On behalf of Descubra Mundo, I thank you for being here on a Saturday, but unfortunately, we don't have many other options, okay? So thank you very much for sharing your time with me. I hope you have been able to understand the difference between will and be going to. And most important, I hope you have a chance to use it, okay? Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Monday, we are back to our normal time at 5 o'clock. All right?
Okay.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. See you all.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. See ya.
Bye-bye.